Do you find it difficult to come up with content ideas for your podcast? Or perhaps you got stuck during the interview with the guest where you just have nothing to ask anymore? Try Poddex today. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live stream, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment. All with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C. What's the word, everybody? It's your man, Mr. Al Pete, with the Clear Visions Podcast. Content creators of color, 30-day challenge, day 2. Today, we're going to make this a quick one. We're going to talk about feeling safe and feeling protected in the workforce. Probably going to talk about some, relationship stuff, or not relationship stuff, but let's just say personal and business, all right? So let's get into it. What's the word, everybody? It's your man, Mr. Al Pete from the mighty MPN.
Man, listen.
And you're now tuned in to the Clear Visions Podcast. Get ready to enjoy the show.
Are we clear?
Hey, everyone. Good evening, or good morning. It's Mr. Al Pete again with Clear Visions Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in at the 10 o'clock hour. Or you might be listening to this, in the morning or whatnot. But nevertheless, we are chill. Day 2, man. Day 2. Make sure you check out C as in Charles 4, number 4, challenge.com. And check out all the podcasts that's in the challenge, the 30-day challenge. It's been some good ones, man. Day 1 was great. Looking to get more into it on day 2. So here I am with my podcast. To explain again, with Clear Visions Podcast, this is a more personal, direct podcast where I speak on things that I got going on as a hip-hop artist, DJ, journalist, podcaster, founder of a podcast network and a media company, which is the MPN network. And I tap in a little bit into like my feelings on certain things, my feelings, opinions, and thoughts on this one. I do it on my other shows as well, but this one is like, the one where I'm like talking about things that I have feelings on. So today I wanted to talk about just feeling, I don't have a really title for it, but we'll just title it Feeling Protected. So when you think about feeling protected or feeling safe, some things come up. It's like, okay, well, whether I'm at work or in a relationship with a friend or a loved one or whatever, or dealing with associates, whatever, there is a factor of feeling safe or feeling protected with the information that you give to that person, or being in a place and feeling like, okay, well, this person has my back, or whatever the case may be. So I've been in plenty of situations like this, but when it comes to, I'll speak more on the DJ aspect of it, because the DJ aspect of it, me personally, I don't feel safe or feel protected when it comes to that. And when I say that, I say, I feel like people just like, okay, well, he's just a DJ, he's gonna be fine, and that's that. And we're way more than DJs. Shouts out to my podcast miniseries, The Tables Might Wobble. So this is also going to be like a bonus episode too that I'm going to put on my platform. So make sure you go check out tablesmightwobblepod.com and enjoy it. But it's a breakdown about how DJs go through certain things and how we're more than DJs and just the world of DJing. And I want to give people information about things that we go through that most people don't think that we go through, because people just, being frank, think that we're a jukebox. So when it comes to DJing, I definitely, for the most part, I don't feel protected. I don't feel safe. And I'm talking about from like the physical aspect to even the mental aspect of it. So I will get more into this later on, because I really want to make an episode around this. This will probably be in like season 2, but I just want to share some thoughts about feeling safe, and it kind of reflects about being on the workforce. So, a lot of people just like, oh, we're at a party, but us DJs, this is our actual job, So we have to keep that in mind when we're working, so we won't have to like deal with any type of harm or any type of decisions that will happen that will kind of hinder us from future things. But I want to speak on it from my end because I think people need to understand the fact of feeling safe in an environment, and that environment being the workplace. So, listen, I googled. I just jumped on Google and was just like, yo, let me just find some stuff, and we'll start with like feeling protected. So the first thing that came up, it was rbound.com, and I typed in feeling protected. It's saying being safe in a state of being protected from harm or other non-desirable outcomes. Feeling safe, which is also called psychological safety, means being self-assured that we are not in danger. Having a sense of well-being can't fully happen if we don't feel safe first. So I look at this and I'm like, okay, grand. Having a sense of well-being can't fully happen if we don't feel safe first. So the mental and emotional energy that for me I have to put in when I'm DJing and I don't feel protected or don't feel safe, let alone feel valued, that's bad. And 99.9999% of the time that I do this, I keep it moving, I keep it going. I know how to persevere and I know how to keep things going. But mentally, I be like checked out a lot. Now, granted, does that affect the gig? No, it doesn't, because I know how to handle myself professionally and not really let these things bother me. But I'm not going to act like I don't let things, I'm a human, so things bother me. Regardless if it's something that happened previous to me DJing or in the middle of DJing. It's been plenty of times where I felt like I wasn't safe and I had to keep going. And even if I illustrate that to anybody, whether it's a friend or a promoter, whoever, it's always been looked down upon, and I've never been reassured as much. And when I say reassured, it goes beyond words. It's definitely action. So I can't say that anybody has like reassured me like, hey, I'm gonna make sure you good while you up here and stuff like that. And so with all of that, these things affect me as a DJ, and I feel like that I can't perform to my best ability when I don't feel safe or feel protected. So when you think about DJs, not feeling safe or protected, what are the first things you think about? You think about like the drunk person coming to your table, spilling the stuff over your your equipment, or the song's not flowing like how it's supposed to, and then the audience is getting, they jumping on your case because it's not working. I mean, the staff not making sure that you're safe in regards to people around you. It could be many things. Like, think about it like that. Think about your job. Like, think about the safety precautions that they put in place for employees. It's the same thing they do when, it's the same thing. Same thing applies when it comes to DJing and when it comes to, the events or whatnot. So I want people to understand that first. All right. And then I looked up another website. It was like workstars.com. It was like 10 ways to improve emotional safety in the workplace. So I won't really get all into it. I do have 3 that I thought of, and in conjunction with what they're saying. And I want to just go through those 3 things. But before we do that, I am going to play one of my songs. So I did tell y'all that I'm a hip hop artist, and on my podcast, I like to. People tell me I need to promote my music more. So I want to put I want to play a song of mine, and you can listen to the albums. They're all on the streaming platforms, and you go to MrRP.com. But we're gonna play a song real quick, and when we come back, we'll pull a card from Poddex, because Poddex is the sponsor for Content Creators of Colors. And I'm gonna pull a card on myself and I'm gonna answer it. And if you listen to this and you want to pull a card and have me answer it, feel free to hit me up about that. All right, MrRP@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on Instagram at MrRP, Twitter, Mr. RP MPN, and all that stuff. But shouts out to Poddex for being a sponsor. think that was a great look. So when we come back, I'm gonna pull a card and I'm gonna go through like three things that I feel like, three things to keep DJs safe. It's a lot more, but I'll just speak on these three, and we'll go from there. So we'll be back.
Man, listen. Yeah, Evelyn Flow, the third. You heard? Yes, appreciate everybody listening to this. It's like some like outro flow, you know? Cross. Yes, I'm a man now. That was our story 20 years ago. Working odd labor jobs and selling weed to stay afloat. Some of my homies played the role of Deuce Bigelow. Leftover money, went to the studio to sing a note. Some of our songs were flames, others was a joke. All influenced by some Parmesan and the Coke. We used to ride to Atlanta once a month to record. My homie Billy Buffertone on them boards. We used to swear we would be on Dungeon Family's label. Third generation flow, herb penetrated slow around my dome. While I gave these words a lift, not knowing that was the sign I was going through a shift of energy. I was using real life scenarios and flipping to an imagery that only I can do great. So in a sense that will separate me from the harsh words that others often generate. That was a power no coward could even regulate. Even though that was a power I couldn't relate to. Now understanding why people so hateful when I came along and made these delicate songs and rocked the party while rocking the lady out of her thongs and have a full grown man fixing all of his wrongs. My only intent was making people dance and collect some dimes. When all along that was the Lord's design. Fast forward, I'm moving into space, no backboarding. Conscious of the way I use my sword in this ongoing world. But God got a handle on your foe, so I'm great, excellent. That's why every word said be so heaven sent. If it wasn't evident, look at my track record, this shit is a testament. Look at my fans, yo, their love is a prevalent gesture. That long love that a ruler couldn't measure, I tell ya. I can whine about a bunch of things, but that won't prove a fucking thing if I'm not adding to the change. I used to be that 21-year-old dude that had a chip on his shoulder but ain't had no clue that all the bad vibes I'm putting in the atmosphere gonna keep me trapped here. So all the devil shit I stood clear. I embraced all the small steps of victory. Treasure it like a birthday gift, another shift. So I stand here saying I'm a man and I really mean it. Know it, proud to say I own it. That real estate is all mine, got the work to prove it. I did my time, I ain't losing shit. And you can put that on the crucifix, dangling from every chain, swinging on the duff all the way to Maine. I survived all the bunkers and the Willy Wonkers and all the other myths, courtesy of a chef. It's Evelyn Flow, the third, you heard? Wanna send shouts out to everybody that listen to this again. Shout out to my people that's gone, my people that's here. My man Nasakai was happening, brother. We got another project out. G 4.0, man.
All right, we are Bike, BYKE for Duval, back for the world. Clear Visions Podcast, Mr. Al Pete. Content Creators of Color 30-Day Challenge, Day 2. Yep. So, I'm going to pick a random card. I'm not looking at it. I'm doing it from my app, so I'm not looking. And I'm just going to just stop at one. So here we go. And this is from the Icebreaker deck. All right. So the question is, what makes you lose track of time? Overthinking, basically. Overthinking, overanalyzing. That makes me lose track of time. I'm really good on time. And it was funny because I saw, shouts out to Courtney Matthews. She's a life coach here in Jacksonville, but she mentioned something on Twitter saying that I think it's like the 5-second rule or 7-second rule that she does when she has to make a decision. I'm going to adopt that for sure and see how that works. I do feel like I am a great thinker and I'm a great analytical thinker, but sometimes I do get sucked in thinking too much into certain things and certain situations and certain people. So I'm working on that. So that's what makes me lose track of time. Definitely overthinking. I think I'd be good on that, but the creative side of me makes me overthink. But when it comes to the admin side, I'm pretty swift on that. But definitely overthinking and stuff like that. So, all right. So we finna get into these three things that I feel like that will make a DJ feel safe and protected. Okay. So the first one is and this is for people. This is for people, not me, but for other people, regardless if it's the party goer, the staff, or whatever the case may be. So, number one I wrote down was inform someone of the staff when the DJ doesn't feel safe. Um, Example of that: if you see somebody doing something inappropriate to the DJ, or being rude to the DJ and stuff like that, if it looks like it's about to turn into something bad, use common sense. Everybody common sense is different. But if it look like it's getting, crazy up there, definitely find somebody of staff or somebody that can like dissolve the situation. Cause when the DJ is up there, the DJ really has no room to dissolve in the situation but cutting the music off. And even with cutting the music off, it could be a gun into that person's face. And if they cut that music off, everybody around is going to be like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I want people to really understand that the DJ is like one of the top three main focuses of any event, any party, or whatever. So the music can cut off any kind of way and people look at it like crazy. So even in a situation that doesn't seem like, well, if the situation is bad and the DJ is still going, making sure that things are still going, if you see something like that and it's wrong, try to dissolve that or try to come up or help or something like that. Think about it from if it was your parent or friend or whatever, kid or whatnot, like come and dissolve the situation as much as you can, because the DJ is already engulfed in like these thoughts and situations. So being able to being able to handle a situation like that while DJing is just difficult to do. So definitely when you see something like that, let the person know, let somebody know. Um, the second thing I wrote down was I guess this is for me. It says bring someone with me to help with the protection. So maybe have a roadie, or maybe have, I even put a cop. Like if I need to start hiring a cop to sit in front of my booth so nobody won't disturb me, then so be it. Because it's just so overwhelming when you got multiple people coming up to the DJ and the DJ is actually working, and especially when it comes to people like requesting music, and it's just like, you know, being frank again, leave the DJ alone, because mentally, if we don't feel safe or whatever, it's hard for us to perform in a way that people want us to perform. So just multiple people up there, you need a guard up there. Like I feel like we need a guard. Usually I don't do it. I don't do it at all. But I'm starting to think about that now. Like if I had somebody just standing, kind of blocking me from people coming up, just so I can focus more on the music and the people, that'd be great. And yeah, so I need to work on that. Or that can kind of tie into number one. And then my last thing is I wrote down their contributions matter outside of DJing. So if you make a DJ feel valued or feel like they're important outside of DJing, the DJ is gonna ride for you. The DJ gonna make sure that you straight, the party is going right, and everything's good. But make the DJ feel like their contributions matter, and not just words, with actions as well. So I feel like that's very, very important. I definitely like number three. Make sure that their contributions matter outside of DJing. That will make a DJ feel like he's valued, and make sure he will feel safe and feel protected, and feel like, okay, if this person values me, they're not going to make sure any hurt, harm, or danger, mentally or physically, is going to come to me. Okay, I say that one more time. Their contributions matter outside of DJing, because they do. I don't care how much you don't think that it does, it does. All right. So those are my three things I just want to mention. Like I said, this is kind of a short one. I don't even feel like it's a short one. I mean, it's regular podcast time, but I hope you enjoyed what I just shared with you about feeling protected and feeling safe. It was in my heart to do. Yeah, man. So go out there and hug a DJ and make sure that you're blocking the DJ from any type of hurt. As much as possible. I mean, a DJ can handle itself, but at the same time, too, just enforcing or adding on that other contribution definitely helps. So, yeah. Thank y'all so much for listening. Day 2 is over. We got day 3. It's going to be some good stuff. I have no clue. Well, I have a list of things that I'm going to be talking about. So just stay tuned, stick around. It's going to be some great episodes coming up. I'm getting my flow on. I'm going to get my bulk recording going and all that stuff. So shouts out to Poddex for being a sponsor. Shouts out to content creators of color, 30-day challenge. Shouts out to people that's involved. Great work. Shouts out to the team that put this together. I think this is an awesome thing. So please go and follow them on Instagram, creators_of_color. That's on Instagram. And then on the website is C as in Charles 4 challenge.com. And you can see the episodes there. You can follow them on Spotify, Google Podcasts. And it's just a list of them, man. We rocking, getting these shows out to y'all and being accountable of ourselves. So, and again, tablesmightwobblepod.com. Please go check that thing out. Episode 3 is out. We got 2 more episodes to go. Go listen to the trailer. Go listen to the first and second episode. This will be a bonus one on here. If you're hearing it on the website, welcome. But this is for my people that's in the content creator space. So y'all be great. Y'all be good, man. Mr. Al Pete, Clear Visions Podcast. I see y'all on day 3. Clear Visions Podcast was produced and engineered by myself, along with the intro and outro music. Subscribe to this podcast that's available on MrAlPete.com, mpn-llc.com, and on all podcast platforms. Thanks for listening, everyone. Building but becoming to the top.